What's up guys, I'm with a new video. So in this video, Tomb Raider Chronicles, I share the save files with you. So the problem with this game, as you know, it's an anthology based game. So it is story based game. You've got a bunch of locations, different stories, different enemies, artifacts, goals, you know that stuff. And for this reason, the biggest problem is your items getting reset every time. So as you know, this is the Streets of Rome level. I managed to add a bunch of weapons and carry over the items like small medpacks, large medpacks, weapons, some of them, most of them at least. But the problem is with the first levels like Streets of Rome and the base and the 13th floor, these levels have this kind of problem. Your items getting disappeared because it's a new story, new anthology, you know. For this reason, I wasn't able to add shotgun and Uzis, like these specific weapons that you're not supposed to have. But for the other levels, I managed to do that. As you know, this is Trajan's Market. I use Burns multiplayer mod for this. I use level skip. As you know, I've got, oh, by the way, look at the lag. I've got many options, but the problem with this level, I skip level and I come back to this level, and then the cutscenes aren't triggered because they're already triggered. I skip the level and come back, that's why. And that's why I made a separate save. And as you see, in this separate save, I have Uzis, extra Uzis, pair of Uzis, best weapons, right? And so yeah, you can play with this save until you get back to the garden, you know, where you're supposed to encounter Larson. The reason why is the cutscene isn't triggered, so for this reason, play with the save until you get there, and as soon as you get there to the pool, you know, you pick up the Mars venues, I don't know which item, but you get my point. As soon as you get the stone and come back to this pool, you open up the save file. Thus, the cutscene can play, as you see. But unfortunately, since I used level skip with the Uzis, you know, Colosseum, you're supposed to get Uzis at the Colosseum level, and then when you come back, the cutscene is already triggered and you sublog the game itself, so you can't progress. That's why I made a separate save game file for this, so you can enjoy all the weapons you can have. Unfortunately, there is no problem. You cannot use HK gun in the levels besides VCI levels. You can only use them in VCI levels. The game crashes, you cannot. And vice versa, you cannot use shotgun in the VCI levels. Again, it crashes every time, unfortunately. I even tried this on Nintendo Switch. I even modded my Nintendo Switch saves. By the way, I didn't even need to mod them. Luckily, they use the same file, but it crashes. As you see, you've got Uzis, shotgun, pistols, revolver with laser sight, everything. You've got everything set up for you. And then this is the base level. Unfortunately, like I said in the beginning, this is the first level, and this being the first level means different story and your item. It is the way it is scripted, guys. Unfortunately, I don't know how. If there's any way, please let me know. I want to do this so badly. I wish they included this in the remasters. After your first playthrough, you know, you can use all the weapons, any weapons you like. But unfortunately, they don't even add the animations. Lara didn't have animations for like HK gun, you know, rifle, and the other weapons. You know, Desert Eagle is just a texture swap of revolver, so no problem with that. But unfortunately, in this level, you can only have Uzis, pistols, and Desert Eagle with laser sight. but better than nothing. By the way, you get all the extra items. I didn't cheat, by the way. I used savegame.dat, and I added so many numbers. That's why they're seen as unlimited, but I didn't cheat. I don't like cheating because you cannot trigger achievements. When I hunted the achievements, I encountered this issue. I was like, why the heck? And then, oh, that's why I use the save files with cheats enabled, all the weapons. But luckily for this level, you've got Uzis, shotgun, and pistols, and flares. So luckily you've got them. You've got them all. Except for Desert Eagle, unfortunately, I couldn't add it. As soon as I open up this level, it disappears. So again, what I do is I use Burns mod, multiplayer mod, and it has a level skip and level select feature. I choose basically Colosseum, and then I choose level select, and I get to these levels like deep sea dive, submarine, sinking submarine. I get to these levels and I get to keep those weapons, except for the first levels of these stories. Like I said, they disappear because it resets your item, your inventory resets. It starts all over again. But for these other levels, you can use the secondary, and the later levels you can use your items. You can carry over most of your items. Luckily, even I have these, as you see it as well. I've got them, weapons, but obviously with this suit you can't pick up those weapons. There's no animation for that, and luckily you can't. It would crash your game. So this is a sinking submarine level. This is pretty good. You get all the weapons you can use, except for HK gun. Is it a HK, right? HK, I think so. The assault rifle. Look at that, you've got them all. Flares, unlimited flares, all the items you need. By the way, I love this Uzi mod. I don't remember the creator of the mod, but it is perfect. For some reason, I don't like the design of Uzis in TR4 and 5. I don't know. It looks bad. It looks like a toy. But this is pretty good. And for these levels, there's not much. As you see, you see shotgun, but don't get excited. It's just Lara's appearance carried over to this level. You don't have weapons. You just have med packs. Unfortunately, I couldn't add flares too as well. You can't use flares with young Lara. She doesn't have the ability to pick up weapons, pick up flares, the stuff. But you don't even need med packs. If you're an experienced trader, you can easily do no med pack run in those levels if you're careful. But the only problem is those imps, throwing a stone at you. All right, and not much in those island levels, Black Isle levels, but this is not cool. This is the first level. Unfortunately, you only have HK gun. Yes, you only have the rifle, unfortunately, and the other items. I can't do anything with the first levels, man, unfortunately. If you know how, please let me know if there's a way. I mean, you need to change the script, add animations, etc. There was a way to add it in the old game, but the old game data files were too small, and even a slightest change, slightest mod broke the game every time. And in these remasters, I don't know if there's a way. So this is the first level, not much. Unfortunately, you have to use all you get. But these two levels are my favorite now, because you can use the other weapons except for shotgun. Shotgun crashes. Do not try shotgun. You've got pistols, revolver, Uzis, shotgun just as an appearance, and you've got flares. Goddamn flares. And you can even use laser sight with revolver, but unfortunately, since she doesn't have the animations, it looks so weird. Like, it looks like she shoots out of her ass. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do, but they're fully functional except for the animations and appearance. They're functional. You can use them all, and they're effective. And no sound, no weapon sounds. Man, the core design was so... They were so lazy. They were so done when they were designing Chronicles. As you see, I'm firing my pistols, but the alarm sensors didn't get triggered because it's only applicable for HK gun. And as you see, I'm gonna use my revolver in this level. And this section was so funny. I bugged the game, I bugged the level, I soft locked the game. I couldn't progress. You know, it's supposed to be the end of the level, the cutscene should be triggered. But I bugged out. I couldn't progress and I got stuck and I couldn't return to the main corridor. I don't know. It was so funny. So I didn't know what to do in this section. Look at that, invisible platform. And it was like that. I didn't know what to do. I was running around like an idiot. And then this is the last level. You can use flares. You've got unlimited flares, med packs, and ammos, all the weapons. But again, I repeat, this is important. Do not use the shotgun. You crash the game. The game crashes every time you pick up shotgun. I love those Uzis, by the way. And I always wanted to play with the pistols, especially. You know, you've got them in the FMVs, and I was like, what the hell? No pistols in game. You've got them in the cover arts, promotion arts, all that stuff. And even in those loading screens, we've got pistols, but we don't have them. So it was a common theme for Chronicles and Angel of Darkness, unfortunately. It's like you can look but you can't touch situation with the dual pistols. So yeah, you've got even flares. Even the flares are functional. They're a little bit weird, buggy because of the animation problems, but they're fully functional. You can use them. Don't worry, they're safe. So yeah, that was the last two levels. I was so happy I was able to add pistols, Uzis, even flares. I didn't understand. I wanted to use flares all the time. Look at that! Pistols, but no pistols in game. That's cruel. By the way, the volume is high in this level. The problem was I didn't have HK gun. I didn't have ammo, and I fixed the savegame files, guys, for you. That's why I'm showing you again these two levels. I'm showing you these two levels again for you guys. As you see, I fixed the gun, and now that you have unlimited ammo and you can enjoy the game. So you've got all of them. It turns out I missed to tick activate HQ gun and the ammos for that, and it was a quick fix, easy fix, thanks to the save game editor. So this is pretty neat, you know. Thankfully you can play with the pistols, the other weapons, especially, you know, escape with the iris. It is pretty good to use your pistols as you don't have any weapons. And it is pretty funny, you know, the big guys with the armor, they send you electroshock waves. They protect two large med packs. It is pretty funny. And that is the end.